Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video I'm going to share my quick thoughts about the iPhone 7. Just yesterday Apple announced the new iPhone 7 in San Francisco, and I was watching the live event and I had made some pointers, so I want to go over it. And the first thing is regarding the design. If you think it will be a radical new design, no, it's not a radical new design. It's built upon the design of the iPhone 6 and the 6S. But if you look at the back, now we don't have that antenna bands. And we also have the iPhone 7 in this new jet black piano finish. I'll talk about that later. Everything is not that rosy with that piano finish. But we have another new color that is just known as black. So they have added a new color. And the biggest thing I would say is changed is in the iPhone 7 Plus variant, we have a dual camera setup. And now the iPhone 7 are water resistant. That means it's IP67 certified. So if it accidentally falls into water or anything like that, you don't have to be worried about the same. Also, another important thing in terms of camera is that the new iPhone 7, though it's a 12 megapixel rear facing camera, has a completely new sensor. And Apple was talking a lot about the camera performance in low lighting conditions. So it will be very interesting to test out that. And the good thing is that now optical image stabilization is there on both the variants. That's the iPhone 7 and even on the 7 Plus. Unlike the previous version where the iPhone 6S regular version didn't have optical image stabilization. We still have all the other goodies that we found, like slow motion at 120 frames per second at 1080p and up to 240 frames per second at 720p. So all those things are there. And moving to the front facing camera, here again Apple has made improvements. Now we get a 7 megapixel front facing camera compared to the previous generation iPhone 6S, which had a 5 megapixel sensors. And talking about the other specs of the camera, it has a f1.8 lens and it has a 6 element lens that Apple was talking. And moving to the LED, flash. It is a new LED flash that Apple say it's a quad LED flash. Now moving to the iPhone 7 Plus, this one actually has two 12 megapixel rear facing camera, and we have seen dual camera setups with previous Android phones also, like the LG G5, the Huawei P9, etc. But the Apple's implementation is very different. They're using the first camera as a regular 28mm lens. But the second lens, though it's again a 12 megapixel, it's a 56mm lens. So it's going to act like a telephoto lens. So it will give you about 2x zoom. And Apple has also added digital zoom. They say that even while using digital zoom, you don't lose detail. So now it acts like a telephoto lens and you can zoom up and down on the Plus model. Again, it'll be interesting to see how well it does. So I'll try to test that. And now moving to the display, Apple says that in terms of screen resolution, if you were expecting quad HD displays, you'll be disappointed. It's still the regular displays that we are getting. That's about 1080p on the 7 Plus and around 720p on the regular iPhone 7. But Apple says this display is 25% brighter and it outputs up to 1000 nits in terms of screen brightness. That means it's a very bright screen. I think so 1000 nits brightness was only on the Note 7, and now the iPhone 7 also has that. So that means even if you use the phone outdoor in direct harsh sunlight, the screen will be easily visible. Even prior iPhones like the iPhone 6, 6S were easily visible in direct sunlight, but now this will be even better. Now moving to another new thing that Apple has done, and this is in terms of sound department, is that the new iPhone 7 will finally have stereo speakers. But the stereo speaker implementation is a little bit different. The speaker at the bottom is on the side, and on the other speaker is near the earpiece. So this is similar to what implementation we saw on the HTC 10. Again, it'll be interesting to see how well it works. So finally we have stereo speakers, and according to Apple in their press event, they were mentioning that it's about 2x louder compared to the iPhone 6S. But sad thing is that we will no longer get the 3.5mm headphone jack. Now for sound you have to use the lightning connector, and Apple is going to bundle earpods with the lightning port. So you won't be using the device won't have a 3.5mm headphone jack, but Apple is bundling a lightning to a 3.5mm headphone jack converter in the box. Next, moving to the iPhone chip, the new iPhones will come with the new A10 Fusion chip, and this is a quad-core chip. They have 2 high-performance core and 2 low-performance core. And Apple was saying that this new A10 Fusion chip is about 40% faster than the A9 chip that was used on the iPhone 6s. And guys, the chip on the iPhone 6s and the 6s Plus was not a slouch. So I'm expecting a lot of performance gains with this A10 Fusion chip. And due to the 2 low power efficiency cores, Apple says that the new iPhone 7 will get significantly better battery life. And according to Apple, it should get about, on the regular iPhone 7, it'll get about 2 hours more battery life compared to the iPhone 6s, and about 1 hour more battery life compared to the iPhone 6s Plus. And now moving to storage, again here Apple has made changes. No longer we get the 16 gigabytes base variant. That's bumped up to 32 gigabytes for both the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus. But strangely, we don't have any 64 gigabyte variant. The next variant is 128 gigabytes, and later on we have even a 256 gigabyte variant. So 32, 128 and 256 gigabytes. In terms of availability, it will be launched in US and other countries on September 16th and in India on 7th October. Regarding the Indian pricing, we still don't have the Indian pricing details, but the pricing is similar in US to what was the pricing for the iPhone 6s when it was launched. For the iPhone 7 base variant, it will be $649, and the iPhone 7 Plus base variant will be $769. So this was the info, and now I want to quickly go over some of the thoughts that were going in my mind. And I would say the implementation of the dual camera setup is actually pretty impressive. I would say Apple is using the second lens as a zoom lens. We have seen implementation of dual camera lens on other Android devices like the LG G5. They were using it as a wider vision, the second camera. And we also saw with the Huawei P9 where they were using a monochrome lens. So it will be interesting to test out the dual camera setup on the iPhone 7. I feel if you're a camera fanatic, that should be a huge upgrade. You can actually zoom in and take good shots without too much of loss in quality. Now, I still miss the fact that the 3.5mm headphone jack will be missing. But yeah, you have to use lightning connectors or use Bluetooth headsets. Apple also launched wireless earbuds, but they are sort of pricey. I heard in India it will be priced around 15,500 or so. Another improvement that Apple has done is the home button. Now the home button is not actually a button. It's the capacitive layer, just like the what we see on the OnePlus 3. So it's not a physical button, but they have the haptic engine behind it. So whenever you press it or you depress it more, it will give you a feedback. So it's a different way of implementation, I would say, and it'll be interesting to see. Apple says that with different notifications and stuff, you will get different kind of haptic feedback, and the phone will be able to sense if you're pressing it harder or another or different stuff. So that is another interesting thing. We still have the 3D touch that we found on the iPhone 6s, so that is still there. And regarding the new version, that is the black piano finish, it looks really cool in pictures, but guys, it's sort of a fingerprint magnet, and it's also not scratch resistant. In fact, Apple just yesterday also made a statement that the new piano finish is not as scratch resistant as the other variant. So you have to be aware of that. I was actually planning to get the the jet black piano finish, but after hearing that, I'll just stick to the normal version, and probably I'll go with the black one. It looks really cool. Regarding the piano finish, again, it's not available in the 32 gigabyte version. It's only available at the 128 and 256 gigabytes variant. And finally, guys, I'm looking forward to test out the iPhone 7, particularly the camera, and see how it compares in terms of camera performance with Android flagships. And again, we are still waiting for the official Indian pricing for the iPhone 7. As soon as that is known, I'll add that in the YouTube show notes description, and also try to make an annotation. So again, guys, that's it for now for this my quick impressions regarding the iPhone 7, and I would love to know your thoughts about the iPhone 7. So do share your thoughts in the YouTube comments below, and if you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.